Hi there, it's Dom again. Hope you're all well. Hope you're all surviving and keeping spirits up. I thought I'd do a quick video of sort of walking around, well, part one of walking around my handling system that I built from scratch. I'm out in the boarded section of the race at the moment, but I thought I'd do a sort of series of videos because it's going to be a little bit complicated. There's quite a lot of detail to cover, a few bits and pieces. I'll probably have to do multiple little videos and sort of either piece them together or do them over several days, because there's a lot to sort of cover, and walking around a handling system on a mobile phone is going to be very confusing for you all to try and work out which pen leads to another pen. So I'm going to do my best and do it in sections, and probably sort of take some aerial shots so you can understand the pen layout. But first things first, so we're in the boarded section here. It's the race. You can kind of see part of the race disappears behind my right shoulder there. And if I spin around sort of 180 degrees, it runs up there. You can see up to sort of the junction, the gates you'll see there, the galvanised gates, which makes more sense when we go up there. The race also continues the other way, so basically the race runs into the shed from two directions. There's a three-way gate that's behind me, which basically leads into the shed. So if we go and have a look up there, then yeah, you can make sense of that. So the reason this section's boarded this is basically the narrowest part of the race on the whole farm. It's about 3.6 metres, which is about 12 foot, and it's sort of boarded just to basically protect the deer when they're running through. It's the tightest, narrowest space, so there's a possibility that they might get a leg or something sort of through the netting and potentially injure themselves. And because it's so narrow, I say there's more risk of that because they're under sort of greater pressure and in tighter groups, and that's to aid us sort of maintaining better control and getting them in that sort of last bit, if you like, in the lead up to the shed, maintaining control and them going where we want. Say they're in quite tight groups because obviously it's narrow, so the boards just sort of protect them from the netting and potential injuries. But anyway, I'll walk up to the subjunction. You can have a look at the junction and we'll go from there. Right, so I've just walked back up a bit. You can see the bit sort of just back that way, but over my right shoulder where we've just come from. So if I spin round, hopefully the sun's not too low and you can see this. You can see the race kind of runs off down that way as well, down to some more paddocks. There's sort of another dozen or so or more paddocks down that way. So we're quite lucky. We've got a boarded section each way, so depending on which way we're sending deer in and out of the shed, it's quite handy. We've got boarded section each way. We've also got this. I put this sort of three-way gate arrangement. So up there leads up to the shed, up at the concrete. See the concrete surface starts kind of there, and I've got this three-way gate arrangement. So there's that strainer post. There we go. That strainer post there's got three 16-foot gates hung on it. So this one here, if we have a look here, I can just unclip this one for a sec. So this one, it goes from this side, obviously here, diverting animals straight down there. If we swing it this way, it goes to that post and it would hook on there, and then we move this gate here, and then obviously we can give me a second, I will just reach through. There we go. If I push this one now across to the other side where it latches on that side, then now they can run up the passage, up the ramp, or back down the ramp and back down. So say this three-way gate allows us to divert animals any which direction, either from down that way and straight round, or that way and straight up the ramp, for example. So three 16-foot gates hung in a kind of triangle, if you like, and it's very versatile. And instead of having a bad, awkward, sort of very square junction, it gives you a much nicer rounded sort of corners, and the deer use the gates as basically to round the corner off, and they flow very nicely around the corner instead of having sharp corners, which deer don't like, which we'll cover in another video at some point when we walk around the rest of the handling system. But nice flowing corners is kind of what we want, not sort of square, awkward junctions. The deer can't see where they're going, where they're heading to. So we'll cover that in another video. But this is the subjunction at the bottom, and then it leads up the ramp. So concrete starts here just because it's easy to keep it clean. We've got a big door here which is kind of smooth, so there's no way they can run in it. The door is kind of recessed behind this bit, which is proud. So this is the first one that I would run up. So spring catches, they're completely hidden. There's no chance of them getting caught in anything here. So nice and smooth. Big doors. This is the first one that shuts behind the group. I'll spin it around. So say you can see it obviously flows behind the deer in terms of closing behind the deer on the way up. So it's to obviously sort of as you're running up behind them to move them, move them and close them in the sort of the next part of the handling system. So yeah, spring latches, nice and quick and easy and safe. There's nothing really projecting or sticking out like an auto catch as it would be for sheep, for example, or if, you know, for traditional field gate for livestock. Everything needs to be smooth, which you can see the surface. Everything's plywood from this point on. It's sort of 8 foot high based on a sheet of ply, the handling system. Everything's smooth. So we've got wear plates on here where the bolt on that other door would hit and slide along. You can see, and it shoots into there automatically. So we don't even have to pull it, we can just slam the door behind them if we need to, if we're in a hurry. So deer naturally, like all other animals, they like moving uphill. So we've got this concrete ramp, and that's mainly because my shed is on a big bit of a slope and they're on tiers. So this brings the handling system up there onto the same level as the sort of inside part of the handling system inside the shed.